guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I actually wanted to get a little personal and share with you guys my application process to NYU. A lot of you guys have actually asked me about it, and some of you guys have emailed me your essays, and some have actually asked like, hey, what did your essay actually say? And I kind of felt weird sharing that because I felt like a part of it was a little personal, but I do understand why, because I didn't have the typical story. So to me, I completely understand where someone can feel like, hey, like I technically don't have the ideal story. You may feel like, all right, well, if she did that, then how exactly did she word that? Like what in addition to her application made her stand out? And to be honest, I don't know. Me getting into the school was such a surreal moment for me, so I can't even tell you why they picked me. I don't know, but I will tell you what I added in addition to my application, and hopefully it'll be of like, even if it's a little help and you can kind of get some insight. So I will be telling you kind of what I included in my application, what my GPA was, and I kind of shared some of this in my frequently asked question video for NYU last year ish, almost last year in December. But I'll just reiterate that, and I'll also read a little bit of my essay so that you guys can get a feel of like what it sounded like and how I incorporated my past failures into the essay, because I want it to be open and honest and vulnerable with the admissions office, and they're gonna see it anyway, so why lie? So I just was open and raw with them. So if you're interested in seeing that, hearing about that, stay tuned. And while you're at it, subscribe. Okay, pull up a chair, stay a while. You're already here, so why not give this video a thumbs up? And I will be doing a question and answer video very soon, and like a get to know me. So I would love if you guys could put some questions down below. It doesn't have to be nursing related, it could be anything, whatever you'd like to know, personal, not personal. I'd love to hear it. And if you want to just throw down some comments and stuff, I love seeing comments from you guys, emails, DMs. Thank you guys so much, because I love reading all of them and getting back to you guys as soon as I can. And while we're at it, let's get into the video. Okay, so just a quick recap for those of you guys that may or may not know. I am currently in my last semester of my accelerated nursing program, and this is my second go around at nursing school. My first time was back in 2013, 2014-ish in a traditional nursing program. I didn't end up doing so well. I got dismissed from that program in my sophomore year going into my junior year, I believe. And so since that moment, my whole life was kind of twisted and flipped upside down. I had no idea what I wanted to do afterwards. I just felt like, oh my God, I spent all this time dedicated to this one thing. What am I supposed to do with my life now? Went through this whole roller coaster of just like feelings and all that stuff. I have videos on that, on my page that you guys can check out if this is your first time or first video that you're watching on my page. But all that to say that my options were very limited. When you are academically dismissed from a program per se, it's very difficult to kind of get into another one, because it's like a red flag on your application. It's like, okay, wait, so you failed in this program, or you didn't do well. What makes you think that I want you in mine? And I just felt like there was this red flag on my application, and that's another reason why I felt like, do I even have the right to apply to these schools? Like, who do I think that I am? And again, I end up taking a risk. So in May of 2018, I graduated with my undergraduate degree in health information management, and I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't know if I wanted to get my master's, go back to nursing school, I don't know. But I decided to take that leap and just say, hey, what do I have to lose at this point? I already graduated, so let me try again, right? So I only had two options. Number one, George Washington University, and number two, New York University. And I'll tell you why. These were my only two options because of the time span of my prerequisite courses. So as you guys know, to get into an accelerated nursing program, you need to have already taken other courses. So I already took in my first program my anatomy, my microbiome, my nutrition, all of the courses that needed to be taken. I took them already back in 2013. So here I am in 2018, you know, like, okay, well, I just want to go back to school now. And all of the schools that are in my area, I'm in Jersey, pretty much were like, sis, I don't want any prerequisites older than 5 years. And by the time that I would have applied to these programs, my courses would have been like 5 years and a couple of months. So I would have had to retake them. And what we're not going to do is retake, because one, I just felt like I didn't have the time, I didn't have the money, and again, I didn't have the money. I barely had the money to get into the school. So I'm like, what? Spend extra money for the prerequisites? No. That was just my story. So I was just like, I need to find a school that's going to be able to take all of my courses that I already took, no matter the time span. I'm searching, and I come across NYU and George Washington. Well, didn't get into George Washington, and I'll tell you why. But and obviously I'm at NYU now. So I realized that for George Washington, my essay wasn't as transparent as it should have been. I feel like I knew that I was dismissed, but it was my first application that I was applying to since this whole saga of my life, and I just wasn't as honest. I didn't lie, but I kind of just didn't say it, and I feel like it was just like lying by omission. I just didn't outwardly say, yeah, I was dismissed. And I feel like you should say that. Like if something happened where your GPA dipped, or I don't know, like you failed a course or something, I think you should just be open and honest and say it, because they're going to see your transcript, they're going to see your resume, they're going to see it anyway. So why not just explain it? You rather be in control of your own narrative than somebody read your transcript and just assume what happens. I rather explain, hey, I had a tough time during this period and this is why, and then I was able to overcome it. So you rather be in control of your own story. And I didn't do that with George Washington, and I didn't get in, but you know, neither here nor there. I'm at NYU now. So, but then I realized when applying to NYU, I switched up my essay. But, you know, all that aside, NYU and George Washington took prerequisites up to like 7 to 10 years. So that was amazing for me because I didn't have to retake all of those classes. So when I graduated from my undergrad, I had a 3.2 overall, I believe. And then for my science courses, I had a 3.6 or so. And so those were my grades. I didn't retake anything. I didn't have to. But if you have to retake those classes, retake them. But I couldn't. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the time. And so I took that. And then with that, I had 3 letters of recommendations. A lot of people ask me, did I have letter recommendations and who wrote them? So NYU doesn't really ask for any. And some schools don't really ask for any, which can make it difficult for you, because you're like, well, I mean, I need somebody to vouch for me, because I need you to see that I'm not just someone who struggled. Like, I need you to know the type of person that I am. And the first person that I asked was my professor at my previous undergraduate program, which was crazy because I was like, dang, I just graduated, and then here I am asking you to write me a letter of recommendation for a completely different field. But she was more than happy to do it, and she was the first person. She was the director of the Health Information Management program at Rutgers, and she just so happened to be my professor in one of the courses. So I asked her. She was so nice, so sweet. And then the second person was my supervisor at my current job. I worked at a physical therapy location in the in-between time, building up my resume as the front desk and as an aide. And she wrote my letter of recommendation. I also worked for a nurse practitioner on the side as a cleaning business. I babysat for her, and she wrote my letter of recommendation as well. So I had 3. So I had academic, I had professional, and I had personal. Again, I have friends that didn't have any that still got in. I have friends that only had 1 and still got in. I'm dramatic, so I felt like I need all the help that I can get, and I gave 3. So that's that. And then as far as work experience, I just graduated, and yeah, I had work experience. I was a dance teacher for years since 2013, and I worked for a cleaning company. I did modeling on the side, and I worked at a physical therapy location. So I didn't have like this dramatic, and I worked at a nurse's office as front desk when I was in undergrad. Again, I wasn't an EMT. I wasn't a nurse's tech. I wasn't any of that, so I didn't have a substantial amount of background history. Some people think that you need that, and having it helps, but like if you're coming from law, like don't feel like, oh my God, I need to have this experience, because I mean, I didn't really have that much. And so I took that information, and I did volunteer here and there, and I did include that in my application. I included my resume, and what else? So now I'm going to read a little bit of my essay so you guys can kind of see how I incorporated my past, like, dismissal, and just was open and honest about it. Okay, so I won't read like all of it, obviously, and all of my personal info, but I will read like the two main points that I feel like kind of just was real and just was honest, and how I transitioned from that moment of my life to now, and how I feel like, okay, yeah, this happened to me, but I feel like I've overcome that and I am ready to go to be in your program. So hopefully you can take something away from that. I mean, don't plagiarize, but it's okay. You could take the information. You ain't gotta say where you got it from. Okay, change the word a little bit. I don't know, whatever. I'm here to help you guys. But okay. So obviously, when you're starting your essay, you want to start off with something personal. I like to start off with quotes or just something, but I won't read that part, or just something that's personal to you. And then your middle paragraph can be where you're talking about your history, and then you want to end with how you've grown and how you've gotten better, and how that school, whether it be NYU, whatever school, how that school can help you get to where you want to go. So for those that have had some type of failure, there's a dip in your GPA, there was a moment in time where you didn't do that well, I feel like you can incorporate it something like this. So I said, they say the best things in life do not come easy, but these are the things that are worth the most effort. This is a saying that I live by, especially while trying to pursue my dream of obtaining a BSN and becoming a nurse. One may wonder why it has taken so long for me to pursue a profession that I'm evidently passionate about, but the simple answer is that it would not be my first go around. This will actually be my second attempt at the degree, having been enrolled in a traditional nursing program about 6 years ago. At the time, I had just finished high school and was only 17. It was an exciting period for me where I stayed focused on attaining the passing grade of a B in all of my courses and studied diligently. As fate would have it, I inserted my personal situation and said like, hey, pretty much life got tough, you know? And then I went on to say, that these sudden events took a toll on me way more than I realized or could even understand at the time. And as a result, I ended up scoring a C grade in my program, which was effectively considered a fail. After more than 5 years of reflection, I am very confident that this is the right time to reignite my passion with nursing. I believe that the difficulties I had during my first endeavor was actually a blessing in disguise. It may sound odd to some and even hard to talk about, but I am a firm believer that everyone's failures in life creates the start of a foundation towards your success. And then I continue to pretty much say how the struggle that I went through helped to manifest my, flame and reignite that. And then I said, I say this because over the past 5 years, I've been pursuing a bachelor's in science and health information management, which I successfully completed in May of 2018. And I also obtained my RHIA certification in October 2018. Through this degree, I have learned so much about the electronic health records, compliance, and medical coding. I feel that supplementing this knowledge with the fundamental nursing concepts will enable me to help steer the profession forward and the overall quality of patient care. This opportunity will enable me to merge both my passions and hopefully pursue a career in nursing informatics. In a world where healthcare is constantly evolving, I want to put my best foot forward and make my mark. And I continue to say how whatever school I was applying to, whether it be George Washington, NYU, whatever, I continued to say, hey, with this and with what I want to do, this is how I feel like I can do all these things through your institution and through your school. So honestly, I feel like that was my way of taking my failure and not just like moping on it. You know what I'm saying? Like not just saying like, woe is me. Oh my goodness. I just am such a failure and whatever. I took it and said, hey, you know what? Life gets tough. It happens. And I feel like because of this, I was able to be better. I was able to learn something from it. I was able to take that failure and just catapult into another area of my life that I probably never would have seen if I didn't actually go through this failure. So I would suggest and recommend that you don't let that, if this pertains to you, it may not pertain to you, but if you have like a crappy period in your transcript where it shows like you weren't a great student or you have a couple of D's or a F or whatever, you dismissed, okay, because trust me, I'm not the only one. And at the time, I felt like I was the only one. You're not going to be the first and you're not going to be the last, trust me. But how you overcome that says it all. And I think being real honest in your essay, not dwelling on it, not saying like, oh my gosh, this defeated me. It's saying, hey, I went through a tough time, and because of that, this is how it reflected in my grades, but it didn't become me. I didn't let it overcome me. I will continue to succeed. I will continue to prevail, and this is what I would like to do. This is what I see for myself in my future, and this is how I can do that in your institution if you would allow me to do so. Promise you, when y'all get in by doing what I said, just hit me up, let me know, okay? Because I just feel like I didn't do that with George Washington. I kind of was just like, okay, I will try my best. I will work hard. The typical cookie cutter, what you want to put in an essay. And it's not real. It's not, that person is just like, okay. Like whoever was probably reading it was like, okay, girl, you're lying, but whatever. It's just not personable. But when you are real, raw, and honest and say, this is what happened, I'm telling you, they're gonna be like, oh my goodness, she needs to be at this school, or he, whatever. But that is my application. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know down below. I'm sure I'm missing something that I didn't say as far as my application process, but hopefully this answers a lot of your questions. If you have any more, feel free to let me know down below. And like I always say, if you're gonna do something, make sure you do it gracefully. Bye.